Two heavy hitters from this pool, the undefeated nations of Samoa and Hong Kong, China, renew their rivalry. Bit of history for you here, Tom Mitchell. The great Seven Nations of Hong Kong, China and Samoa have met each other a dozen times throughout history, dating all the way back to the early 90s. Not once have Hong Kong, China emerged victorious. Is today the day at 7-3? Qualification to the Cup semi-finals on the line.
Well, as if this match needed any more fuel pouring on the fire. You've just done it, Bernsey. No more incentive needed for this Hong Kong China side. We talked earlier about how they've been a nearly team for so long. They will really want to put some of those doubters to the back of their minds, silence some of the haters, deliver a performance here that befits promotion into that 7-2.
The last time these two met, extraordinarily, it was at the old stadium of the Hong Kong Sevens back in 2022. That's when Samoa were at the peak of their powers. That's when people were talking about them going all the way to win the World Rugby HSBC Sevens series. Here they are, 7-3, looking to fight their way back to the top table. But the ambition of Hong Kong China standing in their way. They are using that height to remarkable effect off kickoffs today. McCulloch, the main man, that is an enormous pass, but it's heaped pressure upon the Samoan backline, who are going to be happy to pass their way out of any hot water today. The drama is just ratcheting up with each match. The last gasp win from Belgium, the heroics almost there at the death from Colombia, and now Samoa slaloming through the white jerseys of Hong Kong, China, and off goes Enosa Afemai Misitea for the opening score of the game.
Well, not a perfect opener from Samoa, but a confident one, flinging the passes, one-handed pickups. Misitea gets the opener. He looks like a cool customer, strolling his way back to the halfway. And there's not loads doing here. He just spots a slight overchase, bit of a slip in the defensive line. He didn't need a second invitation. You'll very, very much welcome that one in the opening minute of this match. Now their last kickoff, we saw Panoa get up into the sky with a big old bat down. Let's see if they kick to him again.
A massive foul. Sends that one into orbit, and the big slap back again. Massive contest. It is Samoan air right now, and they're fizzing. Almost a hint of losing his feet, but Ravumal collects himself. The man with not just Samoan heritage, but Fijian too. Calls upon both bloodlines to round off a wonderful team try.
Well, this has been a real strength of theirs at kickoff time, and it's that man again, Panoa, getting up with a big old swinging arm, getting the goodies for his team, letting them play ball, and boy do they play. Kind of popped out of nowhere into the attacking line, surprising us, certainly surprising the Hong Kong China defence. It's really, really nice. Sorry, Kula.
But he's got a father from Navutu and a mother from Saina Faliata in Fiji. If you were looking for a blend of nations to create a Supreme Sevens player, it wouldn't be a bad place to start with Fiji and Samoa. And when they're in the groove, they just look irresistible. Samoa cutting Hong Kong China to ribbons out wide. It's a high tackle over the shoulders, surely, on Niue, who looked destined for the paint. Into touch.
Sayers on the far side with the last ditch tackle. It needed to be made because it was destination try line for Samoa once again. They are hot, you're right, when they're in the groove, they are really, really smart. Hong Kong, China, a little bit shell-shocked so far, and they're going to have some rugby to play if they're going to get away from their own try line here, 5 meters out.
It's about riding out this purple patch, isn't it, that Samoa are in right now, because Hong Kong China's time is going to come, no doubt about it.
What I will say by way of caveat, and Samoa will probably go and score another one here, but in their opener against Colombia, they look comfortable, they look cruisy, and then they actually allowed Colombia to come back into the match, and it became a bit of a tussle, and they'll be anxious not to do that again here.
Scrap in the air there as Ali Nardoni amongst it for Hong Kong China. Couple of tries for Seb Bryan in the opener. Got a clip down the ear for his second one in the act, and Samoans committed. That is a brilliant carry, blindingly so. Harry Sayers just fighting through that heavy Samoan traffic, but it's been turned over, and there is an ominous feel to the way that the ball is being zipped around, and once it was in the hands of the kickoff specialist Panoa, there was only going to be one outcome. It's try number 3.
Ta'alai Panoa getting his just rewards for all the brilliant work he's done to get his team the ball. And there is something really hot about Samoa coming into this game. They look good in game 1, don't get me wrong, but they have found another level here. And Samoa, with the fire in them, is a dangerous prospect for any team. So far, they are letting Hong Kong China know about it in a big way. Intensity and execution characterizing their performance so far in this one, and a healthy lead to show for it.
Tricky bounce, smartly claimed by Seb Bryan. Hong Kong China, you feel they just need a bit of time on the ball.
They've not really been allowed to play though. I mean, for all the good work Samoa have done with ball in hand, they're matching it with a defensive work. Look at the intensity about them. Tussle at the breakdown, they're getting after it.
But they're trying to make life as uncomfortable as possible for Hong Kong China, and they're doing so successfully, but committed to that breakdown. They've left themselves short, and off goes Nardoni. Big man on big man. Yue, a match to the challenge. Tempo being injected by Hong Kong China. This will be a try. Wonderfully worked. It was a case of numbers. It was a case of shredding that Samoan defence. Liam Herbert applying the finishing touch.
I'm enjoying here from Herbert as he's anxious to get back on with it. He wants another go. They know they've been outplayed so far and outgunned, but they are back in the mix. Herbert under the sticks. Nice seed in the build-up from Brent Phillips as well. Characteristically steering this team around. They'll get one more shot at this before the half-time break. Let's see if they can come up with the goods at kick-off time as well. Their turn to go and get the ball. This may well go to Herbert on this near side.
Single man, unchallenged. And Samoa from within their 22. The scoreboard currently theirs by a healthy 12 points. They fancy a few more. Risky business in the dying embers. They're making headway. Breakdown in communication on the line that was being asked to be run. Oh, it's just one slip tackle on Masafal. And that's the damage they can do. Devastating from Samoa at the death in this first half.
Well, that's the trade-off, Burnsy. You said they're running the risk of losing the ball when they're ahead on the scoreboard. The trade-off is If you're brave, you go down the other end, you get your score, and that is punishing as you go into the break. Really takes the wind out of the sails for Hong Kong China going into the half-time huddles.
Half-time here in Pool A. Samoa in the box seat against Hong Kong China, 24 points to 7. Youngsters loving every second of their Saturday at the Seven Stadium, and Hong Kong China, if they strike quickly, they might just start loving life in this Pool A clash a little more. Samoa have just been razor-edged to this point, in a punishing mood. So much can change in 7 minutes. Oh, it's a big risk and almost a gift with a bow on it for Hong Kong China. It's still a pretty decent outcome, and Samoa have passed their way into pressure.
I think they got away with one there. For all money, it was not a pass that should ever have been thrown across the front of the sticks to the deck, to no one in a blue jersey. They're very lucky to have avoided a score there. Still some work to do. Hong Kong China, 5 meters out. He's looking at that alluring big 15 meters on the blind side here. Bryn Phillips to put the ball in. Little wizard. They use it. The ball doesn't go to hand.
Timing not quite on the money. Hong Kong China undeterred. Flashing down that left edge. Liam Herbert has been lively, hasn't he? Both games. Really busy around the park. Samoa make a mess of the breakdown, and as everybody waits for the whistle to blast, Bryn Phillips doesn't blink. A poacher's try.
Well, they won't mind how they come at this stage of the game. You're right, everyone was just waiting, watching, went digging for the ball. True 9 style, rummaging around in the ruck. Found what he wanted and delivered it. Well, he's got the team onto the scoreboard, into the game. Just trying to close that gap. I tell you what, 5 minutes in the game of 7 is a long old time. And if the momentum swings here in their favour, then we might start singing a different tune. Not a huge amount of distance. It looks like a lot. It's exactly the point I was making earlier. Samoa, we've seen it over the years. This is part of the reason why they find themselves down in 7-3 and fall from that top tier. So they do have that potential to switch off at moments in games. They started with massive intensity here, and Hong Kong now threatening to come back into this.
Well, the semi-final is the one that both of these two teams want. Max Denmark announced onto the park. Max Denmark with a massive impact almost instantaneously. Does so well to keep it in. Herbert is there. Herbert's in everything, but that is one Samoan too many. when it comes to remaining in field. Bryn Phillips frog marched across the touchline.
Security ejected him from the club. It was looked like Max Denmark was going to go all the way there. He pinned his ears back, went for it. Good bit of cover defence. Samoa playing some nice work. What a ball across the front of his at their own sticks.
Well, we saw them go from this similar range in the closing stages of the first half. Hong Kong China are all over that. They're so unlucky not to get the call or the turnover. There's a bit more havoc being created by Hong Kong China, who've got advantage in their back pocket, and they got it in the hands of Bryn Phillips again. He backs his pace and his offloading skills, and eventually James Christie, who's boomed off the park, and well, we're back to where we started.
Wow, Christie didn't have much of a chance to gather that and really do anything meaningful with it. Bryn Phillips had a bit of a 1-1 opportunity, but the defender had the angle on him. He did what he could do. That's twice now in that corner. The Samoan defenders have just managed to smuggle Hong Kong China over the touchline, protect their whitewash. Certainly right though, Burns. It's getting a little bit shaky for Samoa, a bit scrappy, a bit messy, a lot of time spent in this part of the field. With every minute that ticks by and Hong Kong China aren't scoring, it's good news for Samoa.
There's been a bit of talk about character and really staying in the fight from Hong Kong China, and that's precisely what they're doing here against Samoa. I feel they're best equipped, or better equipped than ever, to be going all the way this time round, and that's going to help an awful lot. A forward pass across the face, and one of the most difficult spots on the field to defend for Samoa.
See, for me, with the lead they've got on the scoreboard in that area of the park and where the clock's at, that's got to be one where you just bang it downtown, put it on the boot as far as you can, and then you back your defence. And you say, right, go on Hong Kong China, you go 80 metres and score, rather than run the risk, invite them from 5 metres out, which is what we've ended up with. You can see here, Hong Kong China lined up worm style, 2 behind the scrum, can pick either way and try and overload with numbers.
Big moment in the contest. Samoa under extreme pressure. Hong Kong China with a huge opportunity in their hands. McCullough, footwork, doesn't outfox anyone. The battle recommences at the breakdown. Then it's the turn of Sayers. Tough one, that. Felt he wanted to stay up, but he overbalanced. The referee gave a long, hard think about it, and well, before we can dissect it, Samoa may just make Hong Kong China pay. It sits up like a dream, and they have been in a punishing, ruthless, unrelenting mood since stepping on the field. And Warren Solomona may just be about to score the try to put Hong Kong China to bed.
Well, that is the way you do it. They dilly-dallied down their end of the park for a long time in this half. They had one shot to get out, to play on the width. Solomona takes it upon himself to put in a beautiful chip and chase. Pops up nicely for him, and he is loving life.
Scoreboard aside, Mitch, that's got to be an emotional wounder for Hong Kong China to have been captain the 22 that long and not just left with nothing, but have suffered another 7 against them.
There's also not much you can do about that. You know, playing 7 in the front line, it's a beautiful chip and chase. He's wheels them, gathered himself. It's just a great bit of attacking skill, but you're right. Not only to come back empty-handed from all that graft, actually come back worse off. And that is the game now. Samoa fronted up, and to be fair, they looked threatened for a while, but they weathered the storm. And actually their intensity and quality that they brought to the majority of the game, particularly that first half, has paid dividends. And they have earned the right to get this comfortable and convincing finish here.
So Motu Opotai makes way for the New Zealand raised Kaianalo, who has dreamed of chasing the blue jersey all his life. He gets a lift in that fated blue to set up a chance for one last bit of try-scoring pain to be administered to the embattled Hong Kong China. It's not forward, and ooh! And that was lucky on all counts. That didn't end worse. The knock-on coming, and one final play, and one final Hong Kong China put in.
Well, slightly shell-shocked Hong Kong China in the opening moments of this match, but they fought back. They'll have one last crack to try and get something on the scoreboard, but it's been Samoa's game.
Samoa about to go 2 from 2. Hong Kong China maybe with an eye on points difference. Oh, there was no option, was there, for Herbert. And casual as you like, Samoa cough up possession. For Hong Kong China, a long old way for Callum McCulloch to go. Bails out to Jack Coombs. Links up with a bit of pace out wide. Introduction of the goosey from Matthew Rickard.
Off feet, not offside. Off feet, not offside.
Samoa go off their feet. An additional minute of play about to be passed that none of these legs really need. Max Denmark cinched upon by 2 blue jerseys. Christie slips underneath. One last challenge, and Hong Kong China finish with a 3rd try. The game is Samoa's.
Admirable finish from a courageous Hong Kong China side. Been on the wrong side of this one. Staying in the fight here. Christie slipping underneath the tackle, scrabbling his way over the try line for a score. Just to make that scoreboard look a little bit tidier for them.
Full-blooded affair here in Pool A, and is one that Samoa have emerged victorious in. They remain undefeated as they beat Hong Kong China 31 points to 17.